GNT Show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT Show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to bold we got where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Hello?
All right, looks like he got it.
Oh, much better. Am I coming through?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is why you guys need to call back. I'm reading about this TV movie coming up called 11/22/63, about this guy who travels back in time to try to prevent the assassination of John Kennedy. And, that was going to be the first Star Trek movie. That's the script that they had in 76, which was Roddenberry's story. And they wrote that, and it couldn't get past Paramount. They didn't think it. They said, well, no, you went back in time for the City on the Edge of Forever. We don't want to do that. And so they rejected it, and then they came up with the V'ger story, and they did that one instead. So here's somebody who's doing a movie that's the movie that they tried to do for Star Trek.
How funny.
Wow. Interesting.
The God Complex.
Yeah.
That was the episode, right?
And it sounds interesting. I want to watch it. I'm reading about it. It looks great.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Well, you guys sound much more clear, and you sound refreshed. Did you take a little nap while I was writing?
No.
We all did a hit of meth.
Yeah. Yeah, right. No.
No,
We were talking about we were talking about the first movie, and I don't know how much was heard, but I was saying now that we all know the ending, and we're not in a hurry to get to the ending, when you watch it again, you really enjoy the trip. It is a beautifully made movie. And one of you said the thing that you have trouble with is the costumes.
Yeah, that's me.
Robert Weiss was the one who did that. They were actually doing that movie with the original uniforms. And Robert Weiss came in and he said it's too much color for the big screen. I don't like the red shirts, I don't like the blue shirt, all that stuff. So he had them redesign the ship and take all the color out of the ship and take all the color out of the uniforms and everything else. That was his contribution.
Wow, that's kind of wild.
Yeah,
Although I can kind of understand that, this, again, style at the time.
Yeah.
Was you didn't need to do the especially in the 70s, the big widescreen Technicolor in your face super color saturation was out of style. It really was.
I think the uniform should have been orange and teal.
I hate you.
Listen, Alan. You're Alan.
Don't go down that road.
They look too much like the first season of Space 1999, that unisex
Yes.
It really did.
jumpsuit thing. Yeah.
Because Kirk's best outfit in that
was
movie
Robert Weiss's idea, and then when Nicholas Meyer came in, he said, "No, let's go back to some really bold colors."
But that was so much. But the colors in Wrath of Khan were just rich color. It wasn't in your face primary.
Yeah.
Because Kirk's best outfits
they were so rich and deep
in the motion picture were his admiral's uniform, the two-tone white and gray, and then the short sleeve white shirt with the gray pants.
Yeah.
But they popped compared to everything else, both of those uniforms.
Well, he never looked better.
No, he really had.
Shatner looks downright skinny in that movie.
Yeah, he did.
He got in shape, and the way they designed those uniforms that kind of cut in on his waist made him look even. I don't think he's ever looked better in anything than in that movie.
Yeah.
So we may not like the colors, but boy, he looks terrific, doesn't he?
He did, and for sure.
Even without the primary colors and the pop of colors, it was. Even as a kid, or as I was first seeing it, it stood out to me as just something of note that I thought was cool. Was that all of the crew is mostly in the white and gray. There's a couple beige outfits, like beige tan.
Gold.
When they pull him out.
Yeah.
But then when Spock comes in, he's in black, so contrast compared to the bridge and the other crew.
Right.
And even his attitude that he's not going to be emotional, but he was even more cold and distant than what you would think of as a emotionless Vulcan. So I was just like, whoa, that's trippy but cool and different.
Very cool that you noticed that. See, that's a really, and that is the quality of Robert Weiss. Well, I didn't agree with his taste in redesigning the Enterprise as much as he did, or the uniforms. He was a talented filmmaker with great experience.
Yes.
And so he looked at things the way Hitchcock would look at things. Everything in a Hitchcock movie is there for a reason.
Right, had a
Whatever
meaning.
we see, whatever the camera angle is, he's doing it for a reason to convey the emotion of the scene and what he wants to say as the filmmaker. And Robert Weiss did the same thing. So yeah, Spock has to look alien to them. He's not part of the team anymore, so he has to be dressed differently. And you notice too, in the same way, Kirk gets to wear different uniforms in this thing that breaks away from what the rest of the crew is doing, while staying within the same color scheme, but the design of his uniforms are way different. So it's kind of like the old George
And
Custer
correct me
thing.
if I'm wrong, isn't that the first short sleeve uniform we saw in any Trek?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
So what about McCoy? Didn't he have a couple of short sleeve
yes,
medical?
Yes, you're right.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Blue top.
Good call, David. Now, before we go on, do we have a total? Because I know that somebody may be leaving us soon, and I want to make sure we give them thanks while they're here.
I'm going to laugh every time.
I'm back.
Look at the numbers spinning on our tote board.
I arrived just in time. 9:54:07.
Nice.
And we have a tie.
Oh, we do.
Nice.
Yes. Texas Trekkie Girl. And,
yay, Jenny.
And I'm trying to find her name.
Courtney Hanson?
Courtney, yes.
Yay!
They both donated the same amount.
Oh.
So we can split the prize.
How do we
split the book in half?
I thought we had two.
No.
Not of the costume book.
So perhaps we can award the costume book to one and
a pop-up book to the other?
That could work.
Or
there you go.
Pop-up.
I see Courtney's left the chat room, so Trekkie Girl, which would you rather have, the costume book or the pop-up book? So now we'll wait for her to answer in the chat room.
She told me earlier she really wants the costume book.
The costume book?
Okay, so send her the pop-up book then.
Okay, then we'll give Courtney the pop-up book, and you know what? We'll throw a Skeletrek into that too.
Well, no, send Courtney the costume book.
No, Jenny wanted the costume.
Jenny wanted the costume.
Right, I understand.
That's
so
why
you're being a bastard. Oh, okay.
He's going to be a dick.
Yeah. Okay. So no.
You have not heard the last of Chaotica.
Yes. You know what? Robert Reyes has a good idea.
What?
Girl fight.
No.
No. Trekkie Girl wants the costume book.
She's here. She gets the costume book. There you go. And Courtney, we'll send you the second copy of the Star Trek pop-up book and one of the two Skeletreks that we have, which are these very cool little painted action figures. Again, courtesy of CBS Products. Thank you so very much, you guys. We love you.
Did you guys say Trekkie Girl's in the room?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Trekkie. Howdy.
And Fullback's here with us.
Yeah, I've been here for a while for you guys.
I know, that's right.
Sorry about that, Mark, but we had to get our tally out.
Our tally out, yep.
Oh my!
If you know what I mean.
The whole reason we're putting ourselves through this.
And
I love the fanfare, and I love the cash register.
Isn't it hilarious?
And what is our
give yourself
next
some
prize?
applause.
Yeah.
Steve.
There you go.
What is this hour's prize?
I'm looking.
Okay.
We still have another set of calendars. We've got the Star Trek Alien Ship Model Kits, which includes Ferengi, KDF, Boff, Romulan Warbird, assembly required.
Airplane glue.
We still have a couple of the poster sets too. We also have a puzzle.
Yeah, and we also
What's
have
the puzzle?
another.
The puzzle is the ships of the galaxy. It's that beautiful poster of the ships of the galaxy that Drexler did instead of ships of the line. It's actually ships of the galaxy, so it's the Romulan, Klingon, all the ships.
Oh, sweet! How many pieces?
1,500.
Oh, I think that's our next gift.
Okay, so there we go.
Okay, but we also have the TNG season 8 Warped,
right?
Salt and Pepper Shakers, another Trek mug, and the Enterprise soundtrack.
That's right.
That's right.
And another autobiography of James Kirk. So we still have quite a few gifts to give out.
And that Salt and Pepper Shaker, by the way, is a TOS set of magnetic salt and pepper shakers, and it's got Kirk and Spock in like little transporters. So you have to pull the transporters off the transporter pad, and that's what your salt and pepper shakers are. Oh my God. CBS sent me that, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
And if we can do it, I've got stuff from Loot Crate.
My God.
I know. They actually were very good to us. We threw them a sign and said, "Hey, do you have anything that you want us to give away on our show for our fundraiser?" And they sent me a box of stuff. It was very cool.
And we have all this swag.
Also,
yeah, pretty much.
Also, I think we have a 5-way tie now for the STLV Commander ticket.
It's a single ticket. Again, in the front portion of the very first row, the commander's level seat. Essentially, it's like a third row seat, you guys. It's really beautiful. It's really amazing seat. So it's a single seat that we have for the 50th anniversary convention in Las Vegas, the Star Trek Las Vegas convention. But that's all we have. You would have to find your own way there and pay for your own hotel, but it's an amazing seat. It would include everything that comes with it, the parties, any autographs that are with it, anything along those lines. And that entire section is now sold out. You can't get these seats
it's an awesome
any other
gift.
way. It really is. And again, donated by Johnny Snowball. Thank you.
Yeah, so whoever, over the course of the 25 hours plus, whoever donates the most will get that ticket. However, like I said, I think we're currently at a 5-way tie.
So if you want Nick to get drunk, donate more. For every $100 that somebody donates, he does a shot. For a $100 donation, isn't that it? Yeah.
And it's the ticket is valued at what, $700 or $800.
It's like $699. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, what did they? I think didn't they just recently rename some of their packages?
Yeah, they renamed it. This was
the second tier, which was
copper.
Copper, okay.
Last year. Yeah. So it's gold. Commander.
I thought it was the captain's chair.
Gold captain's chair commander. Right. Isn't that it? Something like that. Either way, they're all sold out.
Mark,
the gold tickets sold out before the end of the last convention, so that tells you something. It's going to be nuts.
Now, to kind of tie together some of what we were just saying, you
Mike
just gave away the costume book. We were talking to the uniforms. Have any of you ever seen? I'm trying to think back. Have you seen TMP cosplay at all? Have you seen people wearing?
Yes.
I'm trying to think back.
I saw at the Star Trek Las Vegas convention. I want to say 2 years ago. I saw somebody in a motion picture uniform, and I thought it was beautiful.
Cool.
Mark, Mike. You say we have a 5-way tie. What is that tied at? What amount is it tied at?
Each person has donated $100.
Okay. Just so that way people listening in can know. So
know what to aim for. Yeah.
Yeah, $100. More than $100 is what it's going to take at this point. It looks like well. They were in the wings. Priority 1 had been in the welcome room there for a moment.
They're in the room with us now.
Oh, they're with us now.
We're here.
Can hear you.
Hey. Oh my God! Hi guys.
Is Mark still with us as well?
He is. We need to introduce. So
I'm here.
Now, Mark,
But
yeah,
it's
you were
almost my
saying
bedtime.
that.
I'm going to have to go soon.
Okay.
That's okay.
Hey, did you see the Star Trek Continues I wrote?
Yes.
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 Oh,
We're talking about time travel trips. There's one right there.
Cool.
That was the episode that just recently
The
came
Civil
out,
War
wasn't
one.
it?
The latest one, yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
You threw me for a loop because I kept waiting for the young kid to turn out to be somebody. You know how it's always like, and then
yeah. Well, there really was a James Kirk in the Civil War. He was on the Union side, and he was a lieutenant. And there's mention of him in the script, but some of it got lost. There was more. It came, in the script. It came back in the end again. Some comment there, and somehow that got lost in the editing. But we were kind of blown away about that to find out, and did some research that there really was a James Kirk.
Oh, that's awesome.
In the Army at that point. The thing I love about it is one of the things I was able to get them to go along with was what happens to Kirk and his leg. I don't want to give away anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, but that's just one of those things from a writing point of view of saying, well, what can we do to this character that's never been done before that he now has to deal with? And how is that going to affect a guy like this, who's been able to do a leader of men and a lover of women, to suddenly try to envision what his life is going to be like now in that situation. So there's a lot of things in there that we were really happy with. And it's their first off-the-ship episode. They've done little bits off the ship, but that's the first one that really takes us out there.
It was awesome. We just loved it.
Fun to see the reenactors and everything. I'm sorry, the living historians.
The living historians, right? LARPers.
Yeah, that's why we did it. That's why we did it, because we had access to them, and it's like, well, Jesus, the production value right there alone. How can you not do that? So now it's a matter of coming up with a good means to get there. So, okay, well, we've done time travel. We've done the Guardian of Forever. We've done where they've ricocheted around the sun to go back in time. So we don't want to do that. So how can we do a time travel story that doesn't feel reminiscent of those or feel like a ripoff of those? And so, I think we came up with a unique way of handling it.
You did it great. Well, Mark, we are just so appreciative that you chose to spend some of your very late night hours with us on a Halloween night.
Always love having you on.
We thoroughly enjoy having you on our show and spending time with us and just talking about Trek. And again, for our listeners,
pop culture.
I know, to everything. It's so much fun. For our listeners, they can purchase These Are the Voyages through which website?
These Are the Voyages Books.com is the easiest one to remember. You can also get them from the publisher. You can get them from Amazon and Barnes & Noble or whatever. But These Are the Voyages Books.com. All those come autographed, and they're actually the best price out there. It's a better price than even Amazon.
And they're beautiful hardbound books, everybody.
Oh,
These aren't cheaply made by any stretch of the imagination. So,
and printed in the USA too.
I know.
Not China. Those are American trees.
Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have a lovely, lovely sleep.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Good luck to you guys on your fundraising thing, and good luck to you on trying to stay awake.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Bless you all.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Honest to God, we can never have him on enough.
He's so sweet. And it was Mark Cushman, everybody, author
And for those of you
Star
that
Trek,
know-
These Are the Voyages.
For those of you that don't know,
Fantastic.
Tiny Man, Billy Barty size.
Liar like a dog.
You're lying like a rug.
He's
He's a giant.
He's like Jamie Cromwell tall.
Yeah.
He's a really tall man. And sweet, and he's that beautiful kind of that Richard Branson hair.
Yes, and the beard too.
Oof, man, I'm just saying.
Oh, and Terry, she's getting tired.
Hi guys. We love Priority One. How are you?
We have, I believe Priority One is scheduled for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my
good,
God,
we
you
can
poor
go sleep.
things.
I
We're gonna
want
inject some late night energy for you guys.
awesome.
Because it's the morning here. It's a beautiful sunny day. Got my coffee and bacon sandwich. Yeah.
Excellent.
Speak for yourself. It's all foggy here.
Oh
we
right.
I
wouldn't know. My curtains have been closed. I've not seen what's outside for a long time.
So many accents.
For the second hour, we have a very special prize that we're going to be giving away. We have, for Star Trek Online, a Delta Rising pack to give away during the second hour. So something to think about. So if anyone is interested in the Delta Rising pack, consider that. It is going to be given away during the second hour. This hour, we are giving away.
Yes, because we gave away the Legend of Romulus pack earlier.
Yes. Yep. But for the first hour, we're giving away the 1,500-piece puzzle, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Texas Trekkie Girl won the 50 Years
Costume.
of Trek costume book, and the lovely Courtney Hansen won the Star Trek pop-up book by Paula Block and Terry Erdman.
And one of the Skeletrex is going to go with it because it's cool. Thank you, Miss
Wow, it
Jen.
sounds like you guys have been pretty busy.
Oh
We've
my
been
God.
on the air 78 and a half hours at this point, I think.
78.
79,
79.
79, okay.
I've been up for 51 hours. It couldn't have been online.
You guys missed it. I tried to math earlier and it didn't work.
Yeah, the math didn't stick.
There was no more math. I can't math anymore.
Just didn't add up.
No, it didn't.
It
and I looked at my clock, and all of a sudden it was 1 o'clock again, and I was like, "What?"
Her math was as coherent as a Robert Orsi script.
That's nothing. Nick couldn't decide whether he lost or gained an hour.
Oh, that's true too.
It was a bit unfair of you guys.
I was
Is that
confuddled.
it's both true? We have lost and gained an hour.
I was very confuddled.
Because I think that just happened on the Pacific Coast. Did you guys just not lose your hour or gain your hour?
Happened.
You just got it. So, welcome to the Braga hours.
Oh my.
Yes, we are.
I wish we could have got him on.
That was the third and final explosion of the Enterprise for cause and effect. So, are we done with this fucking temporal loop now thing?
Unless we have any listeners in Hawaii.
In Hawaii?
Of course we have listeners in Hawaii.
Yeah.
We do have at least one listener in Alaska we know of, Terry.
Yeah, that is true. We do have.
I missed
where
her.
Is he?
No, her. Remember the girl?
Oh, yeah, she's there. By the way, where is Gingy? Where the hell is he? What ship is he on in the middle of where? Do we know?
Last I heard, his ship was in Mexico, Caribbean area.
That's fucked.
I could be wrong, but I believe that's kind of where the general area that he's in.
Yeah, how horrible to be in the Caribbean.
Awful? Oh my God, that's horrible. You know,
it's a tough job. Someone has to do it.
Just horrible. Feel so bad for him. So bad.
I do. He's in the Navy.
Oh God, someone's broken her.
Look at that pretty pictures. So, oh my God, you guys. So crazy stuff. Glad to hear that Priority 1 is still with us. I was a little worried there for a bit. So just saying, I was.
What do you mean in general, or just this morning?
No. I mean, I was a little worried when let's face it, when change happens, people forget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some changes have occurred with Priority 1. I'm just very glad to see that you have rolled through them with the professionals you are. So congratulations.
And for those that may not have heard you before, could you please introduce yourselves to our audience?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Hello, I'm Kenna. I'm one of the hosts. Mark is here as well. He's another one of the hosts. And Winters is also here. He doesn't usually talk that much, though. He usually sits in the recording studio and harasses us.
Yes. What he does say goes in the bloopers and never makes it past the editing floor.
Exactly. I have the final say on what goes out.
So you're our Sorry. So
no, he's our Steve.
He's our Steve. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that too.
Because we don't let Steve on.
Come on, Steve, defend yourself.
But a little trivia for you guys. We're actually coming up on our 250th episode.
Holy crap!
Wow.
That's coming up. That'll be published on the 7th of December, I believe.
Oh, congratulations!
Which is quite a good run, I think.
It's really great.
Yeah, and actually, Mark was one of the founding hosts of Priority One way back in the day, and then has been gone for a number of years, and then has come back to us. So I say us like I've been around for like forever, but I'm the new kid on the block.
You are the new kid on the block.
But yeah, we're really proud of everything that's gone on and lasting for quite so long.
I think that we started, because I know that we started, at least 8 months after you guys did. I think you guys had been on for almost a year before we started our own. And
you're clearly inspirational and
truly. Yeah, no, you're far more professional than we are. You guys actually have.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
have you ever listened to the live stream?
I do. I listen to the live stream, but you do takes and shit. Yeah, we just do one thing. Yeah. If it doesn't work, fuck it. We don't care. That's all there is to it. It's like you get what you get, and that's all there is to it.
It's the professionalism. That's what I admire.
To quote the great David Mack.
Oh dear.
Do you know what? I think that's what we're going to try this Thursday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Start dropping F-bombs all over the place.
Oh, I know.
It's fine.
Can you imagine Elio?
He would get in that chat room so fast.
He would get all tight. It would be so cute.
His goatee would bleed.
Don't forget, he represents the silent majority.
His would bleed.
Yeah. I don't think the majority would be very silent if we started doing that.
Yep.
Mr. Diamond Maker. Oh my God.
You want to hear something really weird? I had a dream the other night, and I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to anyway.
No.
I had a dream that I was... I was at a seashore somewhere, and there was like this big storm, and we were inside, but the glass broke because the waves were like 30 feet high and smashed against that. But anyway, so as like somehow later on, I'm walking down the beach, and one of the weird things going on was Helio was singing Zoot Suit Riot on a karaoke stage.
Oh my. Wow.
I was like, why is he here?
He's everywhere.
He's clearly on your mind.
I think he had posted something on Facebook just before I went to bed. So it probably was like, from like one of the last things I saw was his posting. But I woke up and I laughed thinking about that.
That corgi hates those cabbages.
Well, look at them. Look at the one covering its eyes.
Well, its friend's face just got ripped off, dude.
Well,
why is there a corgi attacking cabbages?
Cabbage.
He is vicious.
Look at that. He hates cabbage. That is one cabbage-hating dog. Okay. Good morning, Terry. It's starting
Somebody
already,
didn't want coleslaw.
I knew the moment that Priority One got here, I was going to start to lose it.
Oh, God.
And wait until the possibility of Adrian coming in.
Oh, I know. It's just going to be crazy.
We just rolled
right,
chaos.
You guys. So let's just get it out of the way, and let's just talk about Star Trek Online real quick, because we can. So what's your impression? We haven't spoken... Are we laughing?
Why are you laughing?
The chat room or what?
I'm laughing at the pictures that are being put up here.
Yeah.
Sunseal. She's always good for
rocks, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Whoever, that picture of Frankenfurter.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Please post magenta.
Do you know there was actually in my town there was a Rocky Horror sort of pub event that people were supposed to go all dressed up and things like that, and I really would have wanted to go.
Oh, that would have been a blast.
And I didn't make it.
Oh, I'm sorry. The signal spot was kind of how I'll be at about 7.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Terry, I found one specifically for when we're in the episode 209, 210. What are we coming up on in a few hours?
212.
212. Oh, wow.
Sorry. I think it's 212. Yeah, 211 was last week.
Here, let me find it here. Specifically for that, because we're going to be so whacked out of our minds. I'm still looking.
Robert, of
It'll
course
be
it doesn't
212.
make-
It will.
Robert's telling us that Rocky Horror doesn't make
that's not
any
it.
sense. I'm like, it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah,
make
that's
sense.
the entire point of Rocky Horror. Is that it doesn't make any sense.
I hit the wrong one.
Dude. Oh.
What the hell?
What is going
Nick,
on?
what?
What?
What are you searching,
hold on.
Nick?
We haven't
No,
mentioned...
You chased Stencil away.
I have photos called comment, and I'm up to like comment 75, like photo comments for
man.
during like different things.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find the one specifically for during when we're
like what you're
out of
supposed to be
our
posting
minds.
76 hours from now or so, whatever.
Something I have been meaning to mention, but kept slipping my mind until this very moment, is the store with the branded G&T branded products.
Oh yeah.
Our new logo. We now have shirts and various items with the logo on it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. The logo was created by Thomas Marone.
Yes.
Yay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Brand new website, looking all sharp and shiny. Beautiful new logos and icons, and all of our typical. We have a Cafe Press store, so if you would like, a mug or a thong, that says G&T Show on it. There you go.
And who doesn't?
Did you say thong?
Thong.
Yes.
You can buy a thong, dude. Seriously, you can buy a thong.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh my god.
That's all you need
I'm
is
so
a
gonna
mug
wear
and a
this.
thong.
Wouldn't
I'll
it be a
model for you
TNG
guys.
string?
No, not you.
You said no. Would you model?
No,
I'll
not
model
you.
for you guys.
Winters, you
Look,
should
Like,
get
we don't
one
want
for
to drive
Vegas.
people away.
Look,
It's not a wing and a prayer, it's a mug and a
some
thong,
chocolate
folks.
goodness right here. It's a lot of chocolate cocoa goodness that I can bring into the people who love G&T. I'm just saying, man.
Oh my
Plus
God.
size black men, we're in nowadays. It's like big black teddy bears, man. We're in.
I love
Help
it.
you out.
Here's people's reactions to Marv wearing the thong.
No.
Uh-oh.
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 That was messed up.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, do you know there's thongs for your feet as well?
Say what?
There's thongs for your feet. Flip-flops.
Oh, yes.
There's no, it's not thongs for your feet.
No,
Thongs
because
trying to remember what the hell
when I
I
was growing
titled
up, we
this
used
one.
to call them thongs.
I did too. I
Yeah.
did too.
But
It
nobody
wasn't a
does anymore, I
flip-flop.
don't think. Ever
Well, it
since
was
this
plural
girl-
also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Got
but
And then-
knitted pajamas.
Here it is. Terry, here you go. Here's the
Oh,
one
God.
for during episode 212.
Okay.
Nice.
Behold the field in which I grow my flock. Lay thine eyes upon it, and thou shalt see that it is barren.
And if those listening have no idea what we're talking about, then you should have been here
That's why
live.
they should have
Barely.
been here.
Should
Exactly.
be in the chat room.
That's
Go
what
to
it's for.
gntshow.com
Oh, Magenta.
/streaming, which you would be at if you were listening to us. So whatever. Yeah. Again, it's math, right? It's math.
Oh, fuck, I don't give.
Exactly. Oh my God, you guys! All right, who's play? We haven't been able to kind of share a show together. We haven't been able to share a show with Priority One ever. Really?
Really? Ever?
Yeah. I didn't get to.
No.
Fuck you and your 49er fan thing. Man, tell me
Well,
about
technically,
it.
you share a show with Priority One every week because you're in the introduction.
Well, that is true. That is true. But you know what I mean. We're together, kind of shooting the shit. But I need to know what was
Shooting the
your
shit, you say?
individual.
Wait a minute, I have one for that.
Yeah, I know you would.
My eyes, I can already
going
tell my
downhill.
eyes.
Oh.
Guys, remember that this is like in the morning for us.
There you go, Terry.
Wow.
That's
Holy.
either an extreme close-up
Wow.
or...
Wow.
A bunch of huts.
I don't want to know what made that.
King Kong.
People, write some stuff in chat so I can scroll past it, because right now I can't.
Yeah.
It's just I'm looking at it going. It looked like a balloon from like the Macy's parade that just didn't.
They're walruses.
No, they're not.
Dude, look at that road next to it.
Oh.
There you go.
All right, that's you.
He made those laugh images. It was him.
Oh, so cute. I want to hear
yes.
from each one of you. how did you enjoy playing Midnight in Star Trek Online, which of course was the culmination of the Iconian arc? Because I want to hear what you have to say about it. So,
who wants to go first?
You go first, Kenna.
Kenna, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I totally loved it. But I think for me, I'm one of those people. I'm really into the story content in Star Trek Online. So it's a game, and I kind of dig the mechanics. It's fine, but really, what gets me going is the story content. And they've sort of been leading up to this finale for basically since it started.
Yeah, 5 years.
And towards the sort of second half of the Iconian War story arc, they really started to get some really good content in there. And by the time we left off at, I can't remember the one before Midnight, it was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So by the time I got to Midnight, there was loads of pressure, and it was, this better be good, and we better find out what happened. And actually, it didn't disappoint, and I was really impressed by that. Real solid gameplay and a great conclusion to the storyline, and it sets us up, I think, really well to go into the next season. So
I think so too. Yeah. All right, next.
Me? No, I would say the same.
Yeah?
It was very, very Trek. Like, it could have been an episode or like a mini movie. The story was just incredible. And just the visuals. I mean, going back to ancient civilization and having such a lavish map of Iconia, they need to get that in game somehow. Like, permanently.
Yeah,
definitely.
Come on.
So, okay, and Winters.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it as well. The Iconian map was absolutely fantastic. My favorite part in it, though, was actually around ESD, because I like the way they had the combat going. Had a very realistic feel about, it's constantly evolving. Like, you were focused on one area, and then it's like, okay, they're attacking us on our flank, and you suddenly had to move and take them out. I just really loved it. I thought it was a great mission.
I'm not sure if you guys had heard, but my thoughts about the mission Midnight. I really liked it, but there was one thing that did not make sense to me, and I believe to this day that Kerrigan, the Klingon, he was brainwashed. You just see from our perspective, his change in attitude towards them was way too swift. Sure, he spent a couple weeks with them, but we had no idea, other than taking his word for it, that this is a decision that he came to on his own.
Would you have felt
you can
better
never trust a
instead
Klingon.
of 2 weeks, it had been 2 months?
That would have made it a little bit better, but I still would have wanted, a little more justification for why he changed his mind. What happened in those 2 weeks, or that, or if
he got laid.
2 months? Well, that would definitely change anyone's mind. But I'm just saying, I would have liked a little more information about why all of a sudden, from our perspective, why all of a sudden he went from, I want to wipe out this civilization, genocide, to no, we're gonna we need to help them.
I actually forgot about him, and when you mentioned him, it reminded me. That actually threw me for a loop, because I was like, okay, there's something else going on here.
Yeah, I was looking for the other shoe to drop.
You're waiting for the other boot to drop.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, but they did explain that a little bit, though, because halfway through he said there is no honor in killing a defenseless species, and sitting there for 2 weeks, he would have seen that they literally had no way to defend themselves.
Yeah, right. But us arriving 2 weeks later and not having any perspective or any idea of what he saw, what he experienced.
But that's realistic. We're looking at it through our eyes, not his.
And also, remember, he didn't mention...
If it was me arriving into that situation, I would have wanted more details. What made him change his mind?
You didn't have time.
Yeah, we got attacked before we could say, right, where's your proof about what's happening? Because then that's when the planet started being bombarded with the attack.
Yeah. But
there's no time for that.
Actually, no, that's not true.
He was talking about his misgivings before about messing with time. He was saying that, that you really messing with time is a dangerous thing. So he had the 2 weeks to be there with them, seeing, okay, I changed time, these aren't the right people, and his already previous misgivings for months or weeks or whatever. The project was about messing with time. So he had more than 2 weeks to think about this.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I I can understand where Mike is coming from. I thought 2 weeks was a bit too short. I think that just throwing in 2 months for me, that would have been it. You spend a couple of months with a culture, and you kind of get an idea of what they are.
Stockholm syndrome.
No.
Here we go.
I just would have liked an extra dialogue that would have explained a little bit more detail about what he saw, what he experienced. That way we kind of can know that he wasn't being brainwashed or manipulated, or that he hadn't drunk the Kool-Aid, so to speak. So
but you kind of had Sela there to throw up those things, and you're kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, it definitely worked for him to be that dissenting voice in the mission.
Yes,
but I agree that they could have added a little bit more and to make it make sense why.
But here's the thing: did any of us choose dialogue which challenged him? Because it was there.
No, I sat firmly on the fence the whole time.
So I don't know what that other dialogue.
That's a good point.
What was his responses to the negative dialogue?
If I remember correctly, the responses were still relatively vague, and it kind of just still steered you towards, towards the going the route where genocide was not an option. And we kind of knew going in from an earlier interview with Al that they didn't want that as an option at all. So no matter what would have responded, they would have shifted the conversation back towards genocide is not an option, which fits perfectly, which is great, which is the way it should be. Yeah. But again, I would have liked just a little more story about what he went through. That way it would have sold it better to me personally. Not that I wouldn't have been for the genocide. I'm just saying that here he was going in.
Yeah.
That was kind of the angle that he was looking at. Although he had misgivings, but
I wondered about the choice through the whole of this arc, why they decided to be in charge, because that, for the majority, in most situations, if you put a Klingon in charge of somebody defending an invading force, his first instinct is always going to be to fight. So it seems to me kind of a poor choice. They could have done it with just a different person, would have had to started that 6 episodes ago or whatever, and then it might have made a bit more sense towards the end. But
if they had gone with someone other than the Klingon would have been the dissenting voice throughout. By having the Klingon there, being the focal point of what's happening, having them make the decisions, you kind of see, the worst case scenario, so to speak, the guy that's most eager for war, you would expect,
right,
to actually be the one to be the most cautious. I mean, it was actually a really brilliant idea, because it kind of puts everything else in perspective. It puts everyone, okay, so if the most warmongering of the trio is calling for peace, then obviously that's the best route.
Yeah. And I suppose during the rest of the arc, having him there being so gung-ho on war actually makes the player feel a little uncomfortable with it, which is kind of what you're meant to be set up to do.
Yeah. I'm sorry for going on my rant again.
No. I was going to start a second one.
We got time to fill.
Yeah, it's like, and I was going to start a second one, and that was, what was the one thing that bugged everybody the most about it?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, for me it was, what the fuck why isn't Sela all up in chains and shit?
Yeah.
Why didn't anybody pull out a phaser? Like, we were all just stood there while she goes on this rant and kills loads of people.
And my part with Sela was, she was the one voice all the time. You have to kill them. You have to kill them. Don't forget why we're here. Blah 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 blah. And then when the attack happens, and there she is defending them. She's shooting all the other guys, and then she turns around and shoots one of the Iconians. That just didn't make any sense to me.
Oh,
I'm gonna say something about the whole Iconian arc, though.
Yeah.
The Iconians were some of the most beautifully rendered things I've ever seen in a game.
Yeah,
you just want one in a bedroom. Come on.
No, the colors.
How would that even work?
No, dude, all those sharp, stabby parts. No, thank you.
The colors on them, everything was just so beautiful.
But you know what I found really interesting, because we were talking to, I think it might have been Jadua Ross when we were doing a live stream with him, that the Iconians, the corporeal Iconians at the end, were actually they were done after. So the original Iconians were the floating energy, darker beings.
Oh, I
and
see
they
what you're-
designed the sort of the people version of it afterwards. So they kind of morphed that into the corporeal, which I thought was really interesting. Try and make that design
And
still
what
kind of evoke.
And what's so funny is that I didn't really notice until the second time I played it that the moment that the world heart gets reintegrated into the ship, that everything changes. I didn't really notice the physical change of the ship until the second time I played it. I went, oh.
We had a good time playing that. You can make the little balls float, and they turn blue. It was fun.
And stand in them.
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Oh, yeah. You have to go play the episode again, and at the very end.
Okay.
She's right. When the world heart gets reintegrated, it kind of all goes lighter.
Yeah.
It's kind of like lightens up a bit. But there's these like monument things. I don't know what you call them. Sculptures behind the Iconian. Is it Matara? Can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
You go back behind her, and if you get close to them, the ball bit of them like levitates.
And you can play with the balls.
You can play with the balls.
You can juggle
on the
balls.
Iconian ship.
There
And
you
in
go.
fact, I think
They're going to be called Kenna's blue floating balls from now on.
So what we've learned now is Kenna likes blue balls that she can juggle.
Every man better watch out.
Oh
man.
I don't have anything to say. I don't know what to say.
Honey, sometimes you just can't. You just don't have any fucks to give, and you walk on.
Okay.
I'm going to eat my bacon now.
Bacon. Dude, she's perfect.
I know.
Was anybody else exhausted when they finished that mission?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was mentally drained. I was mentally drained.
I stood on the bridge at Starfleet Academy. Looking back, I walked over to the bridge, over the water area there, and just turned around and looked back at where everybody was standing around that you finish off talking to, and just sat there staring at it for a few minutes because it was just like I was so drained.
Yeah. That's why I said I finished it, and I beamed back up to my ship, and of course by that time I was actually kind of already at the portal for the Delta Quadrant. So I kind of just, I don't know, out of almost like a habit, I went back through to the Delta Quadrant, and then I kind of just sat there, and
it was
I
very
really
much
thought
like the
about
end of a movie.
Yeah, and I felt like my character was probably supposed to feel, and that was everybody's happy that this whole thing is over with, but holy crap, look what I've just been through. It took me 5 years to get through this, and somehow my my character ends up being in that position that as players we kind of always hoped we would be in, that Picard position, that Sisko position, that position of making that ultimate decision or being completely utterly involved with saving, frankly, the galaxy. And that's heavy shit.
Terry, I gotta bring something up here.
Oh god, here it goes.
We can't make fun of Anthony anymore for the macaroni and cheese thing.
No.
So far tonight, Texas Truckee Girl has said that coffee is gross and oatmeal is gross.
Yeah.
We need to send her to a re-education camp at this point.
Obama's got one of them.
I love her.
We were
He's
talking
going to
about
teach us to take our guns away.
Because coffee is gross? What kind of communist bullshit is he spouting?
Dude, she's 12 years old, man. Come on.
She's not. She is not 12 years old. However, she does like sweet tea.
we were talking about Selah.
Yes.
Look at Mike bringing us back on track.
I know, bringing us back on track and shit.
What the hell's he?
I mean, I wanted to see her in chains, but then we got.
Bet you did.
Oh my!
Awesome. Keep going.
Keep going.
What else?
But instead we got a short story, a little article where she actually escapes. I liked the way she escaped, but I would have liked. I mean, she was so hell bent on survival. I mean, she was like just still very methodical, very concentrating on the moment, on getting out of there, you know. So
see, what I would want is I just want one mission. Just one mission after that, where my character goes back all the way to ESD, walks in front of Quinn, and just slaps him. Like,
what? Him slaps him.
What the fuck? I bring you the world's biggest, seriously, the world's biggest criminal. The galaxy's biggest criminal.
Mm-hmm.
I left her in your... What the hell do you not understand about keep her locked up?
Seriously.
Seriously, dude.
I
Put her in a room, sit on her, something. Jesus
I want to see Satan just walk in, whip out his cock, and slap him across the face.
Oh, God.
Wow, that's a whole different show.
Yeah, that was a whole different show.
No, that would
visual,
be like,
I'm not sure I want to...
Take this.
That's like
show.
Yeah.
Seriously,
slant version.
Beth is very upset right now. I'm just telling you, Beth is
still.
Yeah.
Oh, so what did you guys all think of Sunrise?
Oh, that was
confusing as hell.
Really?
Really?
What? Really?
Because I played it on a Klingon character.
Oh, I played on a Klingon character.
So?
And the Klingons are more evolved now than they were, say, DS9.
Okay, we start this mission for Sunrise, and the Klingons are going into Federation space, quote unquote, to an unexplored sector.
Huh? Yeah.
The story was geared
but we're all
more
friends now. It's cool.
Yeah.
The story was
So the
geared more
Klingons
for
are going to
Federation,
claim
but
the planet in Federation
Well,
space.
it always is. The whole game is geared
It was
more
unexplored.
towards
How
the
is it
Federation.
Federation?
Because it was near Ferenginar?
Well, that doesn't mean shit. That if you look at if here it goes. Okay, the nerd hat's coming out.
Here we go.
Yeah.
If you look at the
Brace
star
for
chart,
impact.
it's not blue. It's not. That whole area, that whole Cardassian Ferenginar, that's unexplored, non-declared space. If you look at the star charts, the ones that we have from Larry Nemechek and shit.
Yep.
And I know I write enough fan fiction about that area. That's no man's land. Nobody has it.
I still don't think the Ferengi would be that thrilled about the Klingons kind of poking around the unexplored star systems. Sort of.
Yeah, but what kind of a threat?
Hey,
are they?
Lem.
Well,
yeah, really. I mean, what are they going to do? Bring a marauder out and try to out-negotiate him? The Klingons
Yeah, right.
have their asses in the
Tax them.
Tax them.
Tax the shit out of them.
Tax the shit out of them. With what has me curious though
Well,
is that we
the
know
Klingon
that
bank is a Ferengi, though. So, like, the Ferengi are tied into the Klingons one way or the other.
and we
Which brings me to another question. Why can't you play a Ferengi on the KDF side?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Labor laws.
Klingons wouldn't tolerate Ferengi.
That's not
That's
true.
very true.
Martok had one Klingon that was his best friend and laid on his life for him. So I don't know about that.
Well, they're running the bank. They're running the auction
Yeah,
house.
but you have to
or the
remember what happened to
exchange.
Martok at the beginning of this game.
Yeah,
Which
true.
I still don't like that it was behind closed doors and we don't really know what's going on with that. Well,
I'm just thinking Genpak not the most tolerant of individuals.
Well, I could see if we're gonna split hairs. Maybe because that was one of my questions, or kind of an issue, but kind of not. It's like whatever. But is the fact that the Klingon first city, the main city, the capital city, the bank is run by a Ferengi, the auction house, the exchange, all that stuff is Ferengi, and then like we're saying, why don't we can't play a Ferengi?
Yeah, interesting.
I could see it one variation, or writing to fill in the gap. Maybe they accepted them as part of the society, like civilian, but they're not going to allow them to join the Klingon Defense Force to be a ship captain.
The Klingon. I mean, we've seen that.
But they would take an Orion.
There's an aspect of Ferengi society that would be Marauder-like. I mean, look at Quark's cousin. He was
the gun runner.
Assassin.
He had a gun runner for one, and then what was the liquid? Not was it Liquidator? No,
Liquidator Brunt.
Not the Liquidator. The
they
assassin.
had a mercenary. Yeah, a mercenary / assassin when they went to Impak Nor.
Yeah, when they were, going to say Moogie.
I love that episode.
It's
such a good one.
Yes, I love
The
that.
Magnificent
Where they have the dead Vorta that they have to
Yes.
Yeah.
Zombie Vorta.
Where they shoot Moogie in the holodeck. That was the funniest bit ever.
Well, another part of it is like in the other lore aside from the game, Klingons, when they would conquer a planet, they would incorporate them into the society, but they would never have a conquered people be part of the military or the, you know, government type of thing. So if they're going to take like Nick said, if they're going to take the Orions, the Gorn, you know, the Lethians, all these people that were kind of semi-conquered, even though they kind of, you know, came to agreements or treaties or however you want to call it, they're basically conquered people, and now they're in the full defense force. So why wouldn't they allow Ferengi? It's just weird.
Yeah, but maybe it's just a matter of time, because there weren't an awful lot of Ferengis in Starfleet either until relatively recently.
Well, yeah, Nog was the first.
So, you know, maybe it's, you know, season 12.
If they're going to have a Ferengi join the KDF, I want her to be badass. I'm just saying.
Oh, I think it would be.
Here's another thing. Ferengi don't have any honor.
Oh, well,
that is.
Don't even get
they
me
do in a manner of speaking.
Klingon honor. Don't even get me started.
They have Ferengi have a very strict code of honor. It's just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't usually apply to other races.
It's different. It's different than most
Is
honor.
a contract
but
only between Ferengi.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that wouldn't go well with Klingons.
Yeah, the same people that were willing to sell somebody down the river to protect a shit like the House of Duras. Don't even get me started.
Well, he is a bad.
No,
he's a bad Klingon.
No,
David,
that was to
don't
show.
even try.
That was to show the corruption in the government. That was an issue with Gowron. That when he was like just Gowron the Klingon.
No, even before Gowron, though.
Well, exactly. That's the point. That's the point.
No, right. That's what I'm
There's
saying.
no honor there.
This has been something that's been going on for a long time, and it took Worf stepping up, killing Gowron to kind of sort of end that. And that's
You really think it ended?
Well, I would like
No,
to
it
think
didn't.
that it. No.
That's literally how the KDF tutorial starts again.
Well, Worf had given it to Martok, and he had selected Martok because he was an honorable man, and he believed that Martok could put the Empire back on track.
That's why I don't like the way they started this story with. Okay, I could accept that, you know, Martok, they do the dual challenge, just like Worf killed Gowron. You know, Martok could be challenged for the chancellorship and lose. But I just don't like the way it happened, where they're saying it's, you know, Jim Pock does it behind closed doors. We don't know what really happened.
I think that was done on. Well, first and foremost, I think it was done on purpose. I still don't think that we understand the real answer to that. I'm wondering whether or not we're not going to hear something from that later on down the line, i.e., you know, an Undine type of
that's something
influence.
It's been a thought for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a thought for a while.
That just kind of shows, though, that, you know, for a while it was corrupt. And look at Gorkon. Gorkon was going to be an honorable man. After that comes, you know, after him.
And he was assassinated by his own people.
Because,
by corruption, right. And so
the difference
here comes Kempek.
Yeah.
It becomes
but this
corrupt
whole myth
again.
of Klingon honor has been destroyed time and time again.
Well, Ezri
by the bureaucrats. The same could be said for governments of our
There you
world.
go.
The governments of our world don't always live up to the virtues and principles and all that they espouse, because they're corrupt. So it's a different, you know, honor code among warriors.
You guys
versus
can keep
politicians.
trying to fucking sell it to me all you want. The fact is that proof is everything, and the Klingons do it over and over and
in the
over.
government. There's
It's the case the Federation is corrupt, because look at all the bad admirals in the Federation.
No shit.
Oh, no, that's not
all the admirals are bad.
That's not corrupt. That's just fucking. That's just fucking.
Okay, I want to hear what Mike has to say about Ezri. He's been trying to get the sentence out.
Ezri puts it very well when she's talking to Worf in Deep Space Nine about Klingon honor and the future of the Empire, and how it's an outdated system that's really all it does is hurt them, and she was right because of all the corruption. But Worf, he believed that it's possible to turn things around, and that's what he kind of tried to do, and he ended up assassinating Gowron. But the fact is, there was so much corruption. There is so much corruption, and that corruption led, you know, to all of these bad things happening to the Empire.
Klingons. They believe in the honor, but they don't follow through in it. I think there's the difference. And
you can't say that about every Klingon, though. If you're talking about it as a government, that's one thing, a government entity.
David, how much have we seen of anything other than the government or the warrior class?
We saw a guy who ran a restaurant in DS9.
Yes.
There's been talk of it. Obviously, the novels aren't canon, but that explores more of it. But
no, I'm talking about what we've seen.
But from what
we've seen, the Klingon judicial system a couple of
times.
That's honorable.
According to what you're saying, though, we've never seen a honorable Klingon. Then, from what you're saying, all Klingons.
Worf is. Kurn is.
But then you're contradicting yourself.
Martok is.
Then you're contradicting yourself.
I'm talking individuals.
That's what I'm saying. The government the bureaucracy gets corrupt, just like our government gets corrupt and
but it's a myth. This Klingon honor as a race is a myth.
It is a myth. And that's kind of what as we were saying, it's an outdated system, and
okay. Wait a minute. I'm gonna throw in I'm just gonna throw in a thing here and say yes, it's a myth, but it's a myth that they have faith in.
Just like Christianity and other religions, they don't always live up to what they espouse.
Hold on. It's a myth that they believe in as long as it suits them.
And it evolves with them as it goes on.
No, you can't say that.
Yes,
no.
But look at politicians today.
We're not talking about politicians today. We're talking about Klingons.
And
as long as
Nick,
we can't have the council come apart, so we're not going to believe in the honor.
The myths and faith change with time as is necessary.
And when money and power is involved, those people don't always uphold their principles.
They didn't have gods, but they created a new one when the clone of What's-His-Face comes back. So now all of a sudden...
What's his name?
Wow,
even I know it's getting tired.
Is the clone of Kahless honorable or dishonorable? Because he was created through dishonorable means, but he died an honorable death.
To us, which was awesum. It was very cool.
What was that pain?
I don't know. It was somebody's
Winters, turn your phone down. It's always his phone going off.
So it's So I just saw it as, their idea of honor, not unlike the true samurai, changed with time.
Don't even get me started, because that's a myth too.
That's what I mean. I'm agreeing with you, jerk.
Well,
I'm agreeing with you.
Well, then you're right.
Okay.
I agree exactly with that point.
It evolved over time to the point where it became antiquated and stupid.
It's more like a culture now than a code.
That's what the Klingon Empire is dealing with now. It's dealing with the fact that its own mythology is catching up with itself, and so it's needing to evolve into something different. And it has to do that by aligning themselves with that. They're no longer the warriors of conquering. They're the warriors of self, and that's a huge change.
And if you really look at it, Kahless, when he gave them, like, there was just craziness and tyrants and corruption, everything. Kahless comes in, slays the tyrant Mollard, and who was oppressive to the people, all that. So then they say Kahless gave Klingons the code of honor and the path of the warrior. That's a personal thing. That's a personal.
Those are personal journeys.
Individual a code of how to act, how to think, how to treat people. So you could have the code of honor for Klingons would be a personal
code of honor,
like a martial art path or a religion. The way people think about how are you going to be a good Christian or how do you be a good Jew. When you push that up to the money and power and government and bureaucracy, that's going to fall away just like it falls away with our government, like Rome and everything else. So if you're going to say the Klingon government and the president, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Klingon Council, they're not going to be the best representations of the Klingon warrior path and the honor code, because when is it ever that the governments are the best example of
whatever
their people?
Keeps you in power, and that's you manipulate the mythology, you manipulate the faith, you manipulate everything you need to do to keep yourself in power.
And in actuality, the Ferengi, what we saw of them, were actually better about it, like with the Grand Nagus, because that was done on merit.
Chosen by whom?
Did they ever say who chose? Didn't the Nagus always pick who the next Nagus would be?
Right.
Yeah, that's the impression I always got.
Yeah.
Because we saw Wallace Shawn. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to get giggly thinking of Wallace Shawn.
Inconceivable.
And he was awesome. He was
Those the ugliest fucking ears ever.
So, I want to kind of get back to Sunrise real quick, just because one of the things...
that's where we started.
That's where we started this whole conversation. But it was something that I thought was quite interesting, was that the fact that the Lucari, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which I thought was very sweet. For some reason, it reminds me of Janet.
Aw. Hey, how long until Kipley and James join us?
Not for another hour.
I just asked for math.
You did.
Hang on, I'll figure it out.
It says
Later on
2
after quarter to
a.m.
one.
Pacific.
Just over an hour.
3 a.m.
Okay.
Pacific. No, 3 a.m. Pacific.
It's 1:52 a.m. Pacific now that we did the wibbly wobbly time thing.
Right. They're showing 3 a.m. Pacific. So that'd be 6 o'clock in the morning for you, Nick.
Okay.
An hour and about 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you said the Lucari, so it made me think of Kipley.
Lucari. Yeah, the Lucari. And she mentions that they've met other species.
Yes.
She mentions that they've met neighbors, but you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Does she,
Right.
Is there? I know that there's an opportunity to ask her. What does she answer?
Now, I did notice that when you play through, if you kind of turn around while you're doing your stuff, she actually has little speech bubbles. So she's talking to you. It doesn't come up on the side bit, and it doesn't come up in a dialogue box, but it kind of pops up over her head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you have to kind of make sure you look around, because she actually mentions that they used to trade with the Ferengi and then they stopped for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
So you have to. So she's there, kind of chatting away. I don't know if that option changes, but because you have the option to say "stick with me" or "wait here." Or
I
whatever.
sent her off with what's his face.
Oh,
so
see,
I
I always
get
said
that.
"stick with me." So try playing that again.
Okay,
next time
I'm
and
gonna
just kind of
have
look
her
around.
play with me the next time. That's cool. I didn't know that, because I sent her off with Caldano, which I was so tickled about. Especially because my husband walked in and he was like, Caldano, he created the Toxotot, and then he just looked at himself, hung his head in shame, and walked out.
Oh wow, that's a very
was
specific little piece of knowledge to have. If you haven't.
It was
been
just one of
briefed
those
on
things. It's
on this
that episode in particular that we have always really loved, and
everyone loves Captain's Holiday.
it's really fun.
Everybody loves it.
And he loves Bosch. He loves Bosch. Yeah, that's the thing.
Who doesn't?
Seriously.
Q doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
Well, see, that's the thing. Do you guys remember the summer event where they set up the new little tent area back in the back of the island?
Yes.
Where they had all the artifacts.
What is
and it was like, what are they going to be doing? Because they're setting up something with the whole Picard doing the Toxotot thing, and then suddenly,
that never even occurred to me, but that's a very good point, because this current story arc is going to take us through probably, at least the next year.
At least. Probably
and
2 or 3.
We know from the canon, the lore, that at some point in the 24th century, Captain Picard destroys the Toxotot. So I wonder if that's being set up to lead for that in the next summer event.
On Risa, isn't there near the pier? Isn't there a gentleman reclining on the beach that looks kind of like Picard?
And there's a Horgon sitting next to him.
I'm sitting here going, I need to log into the game now.
I know, right?
Go and check.
You're not in game?
No.
I'm in the game. I'm on my way there to check.
Oh my god. All right. I'm logging in. Let's see how I can. We're going to fact check this for you guys.
Here's a
Live
question,
on air.
though, because I haven't played these yet. I just don't really have a whole lot of time, and I'm missing out on it. So there's new Sunrise. Before that was Midnight. Do you remember what the episode was before Midnight?
Butterfly.
Okay,
or Butterfly Effect, depending on which screen you look at.
Which screen you're looking at, right?
I think it was either Butterfly or Midnight. It might have been Butterfly, but I remember when we talked to Al at Vegas, because I think it was the one that mainly heavily involved Nog, so that's probably
that's
Butterfly.
Yeah.
He was saying that the story was going to be impactful, emotional, but I remember specifically he said he would feel good, or he would hope that like it would show that they did their job or achieved what they wanted. If you were to cry, did anybody have an emotional that type of whether or not you actually had a tear? Was it that impactful and emotional? Because I know that leads all of these last couple episodes.
When I finished Midnight, I was definitely moved. That's why I just stood on the bridge and just looked back at everybody for a little bit, because I was just trying to take
kind of devastated.
Yeah, I was just trying to take in everything that had happened.
Well, even Butterfly, I was kind of, wow, what did I just witness? The whole seeing Romulus become a Borg planet, and then
I'll tell you, Mike, were you on when I said,
yeah,
are you serious?
He was flipping out.
First JJ blows us up, and now this fucking shit.
Wow, the Romulans cannot catch a break.
No, they're constantly getting bent over and treated like Jenna Jameson.
Yeah, to be fair, they have been kind of a pains in the... I'm going to ignore that comment. They've been pains in their rear end for several years.
Oh, that's ties in with his comic.
Yes.
Very well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was completely unintentional.
It tied in with it.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Oh, my God. Excuse me.
I mean, can't the Cardassians get fucked with for a while or something?
Oh.
Hey,
we had a whole series about that.
How about how about the Beta Zeds?
No,
dude,
that was fucked up.
No, we can't have that.
The what?
I'd actually love to see that.
Casey just gassed me out. Oh my God.
Oh, dog farts.
That's our boy.
no.
That's our boy.
Oh, Shamamaya. I swear to God, I can't breathe.
Did Alan give him tacos while you were not looking?
Alan's taking a nap. He's in bed.
Oh my God.
Well, there was a comment on Facebook, and they were kind of being funny about the JJ movies, destroying Romulus. And I made a comment, like, obviously I'm the big Klingon nut and everything, and I was saying, like, I didn't like that either. It's like, as much as the Romulans and Klingons have the history or whatever, I didn't like that was going to be Prime Universe. It's like, okay, do whatever you want in your alternate mirror universe style.
Leave ours
pocket.
alone. Right.
Right. And so somebody was, made the joke, well, it should have been Kronos. And I was like, okay, they're kind of joking at me. And I'm like, okay. But I thought, I said exactly the first thing in my mind, it's like, obviously I wouldn't want Kronos to be blown up either, but I was like, who would I have chosen? Almost like that question about which, character would you want to kill and not come back thing.
Right.
My first, I put that to my head, like, if they're going to blow up a planet, who would I pick to be the one? And I came up with Cardassia, and I thought, for one, it's kind of like karma, like after the whole Bajoran occupation that they went through, like that devastated the people, and then they join with the Dominion, like they choose the other team against the Alpha Quadrant. You know? And I thought,
right when they start to become, I don't know, more independent and leaving is when they take it up the rear.
Exactly. Well, and because that's right, and then because then they would be even more beholden to, like, help us people, we need help, and it would show, like, it would humble them. It's sad to say, but it's like karma, and almost like.
But would it?
I don't think it would.
I don't think it would.
No.
I serious. If there's one thing that sometimes when you put the extra pressure is when
it's
that cat backed into a corner thing. It's when somebody is at their very worst or at their very most vulnerable is when the true shit starts to come out.
And that would be a very interesting scenario. That's like, it wouldn't have happened when they were still doing the occupation,
but
still with the Dominion.
Anger. Oh my gosh.
But right as they're coming out of that, trying to be a civilian government, reform, and then it happens.
It's like the corpse coming up out of the bathtub when you thought it was dead, then boom, this happens now.
Well, and it would test them to see, like, what are they going to really, go.
Well, the fall series kind of potentially could have led to something similar.
Yeah.
I mean, here we had the Cardassians. They're trying to get their government going, and all of a sudden they're being accused of possibly assassinating the Federation president. And they're kind of being framed and pushed into
by their own.
Into becoming this bad guy again. That could have very well been the straw that broke camel's back, so to speak, pushing them over the edge and turning them against, the civilian government, and bringing back, this militant and portion of their government.
Yeah, David, I agree with you, because I think, now I don't know what their reason was for choosing to do that to Romulus. I think part of it might be because we had already seen Praxis with Kronos, so maybe they figured, okay, now we'll go to the other of the core.
Are you talking about Star Trek Online and why they decided to
No,
give you the visual?
Well, and also because it being like the reboot, they're going back to the TOS era. Like it would have been the Klingons, Vulcans, Romulans, I guess Tellarites and all them. It wouldn't have touched on Cardassia, because I even thought like Bajor, Cardassia, like what planets. I even thought of, like, for joking reasons, like, blow up Pakled planet or whatever. But I thought if it's gonna be like a something impactful that's gonna, like, be a oh shit, and also
fuck it, make it Alpha Centauri. Nobody cares anyway.
Oh,
Terry, look who's in the chat room.
Oh my God, look who's in the chat room. He heard us talking about him. He heard Kirsten curse his name from afar.
Maybe we should invite him into our TeamSpeak and
without a doubt,
and get
oh
a
my
comment.
God, that's so awesome.
And get a comment.
You're Earl of Swallowship.
James Swallow, the author of Titan books, is in our chat room. Oh my God, too funny. I brought that up because I really wanted to say, to discuss with you guys this great conversation with, not just triggered amazing conversations, but, that Sunrise to me was this was this very, very cool idea of not just meeting a new species, but also kind of laying that groundwork for what we all, now we were talking with Al Rivera earlier, is okay, great. Now that I've played Sunrise, and I apologize to those who haven't, but dudes, go in there and play it, because
and Jabberwocky.
And Jabberwocky. And then at the end of this episode, not only are you still dealing with the ramifications that your character was essentially responsible for the end of the Iconian War, but as well as a whole bunch of other shit that happened during it, and a witness to death of countless people. But also now you're intricately involved with what is the start of the Temporal Cold War. So yeah, your character is pretty fucked up now in the head. I'm just saying, you need a counselor. By the end of Sunrise, if you're not making your own counselor appointment, there's something wrong with you.
And here's another question that I've had, because I've tried to keep up somewhat, and I've given up on saying no spoilers, because it's just I'm too out of the loop to think that way. But I've been wanting to get back into it, and I actually started forcing myself to log into Stowe, even if I think, because here's the thing, when I used to play Stowe regularly, I would play for like 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours straight. Like, I would just be on Stowe, and that was what I was going to do for the night. It got to the point where I couldn't do that, and I would have like 2 hours or maybe a half hour, and I'm like, well, crap, I can't go grind for gear. I can't go grind for marks and reputation, so I kind of pulled myself back out of it, but I would miss it, and I'd always want to keep going. And so now it's like I would log in and just do dailies for Dilithium or whatever, play for a little bit. And then recently I just made a new character.
Noops.
Testing. Echo.
Hi, James. I'm gonna pull you into a separate room temporarily.
I feel like we're in an ELO record. Okay, we all need to get together and live tweet Xanadu.
Only if we don't have to roller skate.
I've actually played Xanadu and I'm Alive and some of the songs on my show. But
some great songs in that movie.
No doubt. Well, and just what I was going to say.
Xanadu? Jesus.
I've been forcing myself to log in, even if it's only for like a half hour, 15 minutes, and mess around. And I just recently made a new character that I've decided, just as a crazy side note, it's going to be my TOS character. I'm going to stay in the TOS Constitution. I might level him up and spend points, but he's going to be always in the Constitution, always wearing the TOS garb, just to mess around with. But my question was, I've been hearing about Butterfly, and I knew, it's going to set up this whole new, the end of one era, the beginning of another.
It really does.
And so my thought was, I need to go check it out. And there's so much of the content that I've missed. Like, I've basically not really done much with the Dyson Sphere stuff and the Delta.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
Seen pockets of it, but with this, especially the end of the Iconian War and the setting up of the new one, I'm like, I gotta be in on that. I can't let myself be out of it that much for that long, type of thing. And so with Butterfly, I was kind of curious. That's why I was asking. Partly is Butterfly, Midnight, and then
They're
Sunrise.
spectacular. They really are.
And also because Al said, if you haven't played for a long time, or if you've never played and you're a new player, now is a good time to jump in and see it. So my question would be, and this is for everybody, P1 might know, you guys, what would be the episode or the mission to start with?
Delta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Probably.
James Swallow is with us now.
Okay.
Hi, James.
Good. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have just gotten up from a nice Sunday morning lay-in, had some crumpets and a cup of tea, and I'm feeling kind of expansive and relaxed. And I thought I'd stick my head around the door and see what you guys were doing. And you're all still awake. I can't believe it.
We're wired.
We're professional.
It's morning for some of us.
Yeah, some of us.
There's some of the lurkers.
And
drunk so much coffee.
the good people from not just Club 602, but also Priority One are with us. And Priority One pretty much are all UK peeps. So
hello to you guys too.
Keeping us awake.
Nice to hear some people from my hometown. So UK represent.
We are professional, James. You should know that. So we had a little visit from a very talented young lady named Miss Kirsten Beyer, and she had plenty of awesome things to say about you.
It's all lies. It's all lies. Everything she says is lies.
Oh, I think that was the first time that she just really went off and cussed. It was hilarious.
It was awesome.
So she talked about basically me basically giving her nightmares. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Because that son of a bitch.
She sent me like the best email, right? I've been on vacation the last couple of weeks, right? And it was the day my vacation ended, and I'm in the hotel thinking, oh, I'm having such a great time, but I've got to go home now. And I open up my phone over lunch. Over breakfast, and the first thing I see is this email from her, and I just burst out laughing in the middle of the hotel lobby. And Andy's like, what my girlfriend's saying, what are you laughing at? I'm like, read this. And she's like, you son of a bitch, I hate this thing. And so she was talking about the creatures that I'd created for my fighting novel Sight Unseen. And she was saying how, they spooked the hell out of her. And I emailed her back and I said, clearly you have discovered my evil plan, which is to ruin the productivity of all my favorite fellow Star Trek writers by, scaring the bejesus out of them.
Well, you did a good job, dude.
Yeah, you did. You scared her.
Oh, thank you.
Me too. Holy crap.
You touched on an old childhood memory. That's how you really scare someone. Is you reach into their subconscious and you start playing with the shit that scared them when they were children.
You like brought her back to her childhood fear of Ridley Scott's Alien. That's high praise.
I feel really bad about it though, because
it was great radio.
Because Kirsten's just she's so fantastic and she's such a great writer, and the idea of me kind of doing anything to distress her, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
And you missed it because she was on, and we also had the great Mark Cushman on, and them talking to each other about writing and story and all of that. This has been an amazing journey that we've had tonight so far, and I'm only seeing green elephants right now.
It's been
wait
so
till
much
the polka
fun.
dot ones arrive.
Yes.
Okay, so I just have to say, James, once again, you are the Riker god. You know how to write this guy.
And since James is here, do we have a tally?
Ooh.
Oh, we can go with a tally. We do have a new donor, so
Yay.
They are getting a copy of.
It's the puzzle, right?
The puzzle, yes, the 1500 piece Galaxy Starship.
There's the fanfare. I'm so excited.
James hears this in his head every time he enters a room.
Yay!
Which Alan says all the time. That's great.
Our current total is $974.07.
Oh
Nice.
my God, we're almost halfway there.
Well done, you crazy kids.
And for this hour, we are giving away a Star Trek Online Delta Rising pack.
Now, Mike, who was the recipient of the puzzle?
Oh, the puzzle is a gentleman named Michael Crate.
Nice. And we have a
So
four-way
congratulations.
tie for the grand prize?
Yes, because Paul has stepped out of the competition for that. So it is currently a four-way tie for our grand prize, which is a commander level ticket for Star Trek Las Vegas 2016. These tickets are sold out. They've been sold out for, what, a month or two?
At least.
So, the only way you're going to get one is from us. Yo.
That is 4 people who have each donated $100.
Right.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Very generous. Very kind of you.
Very, very wonderful.
That's amazing.
I know it's been
And let's see.
As I go get another bottle of water. I'm trying to be such a good girl.
This was the copper. It used to be called copper level, right?
I think this is the old captain's chair. They renamed
No,
it.
they have captain's chairs still, don't they?
This is the second tier. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
It used to be gold, but I guess gold is now captain.
So
commander is the second tier, and so on and so forth.
Here's what this entails: the very best reserved seats behind the gold weekend passes in the main theater, a super favorite benefit. The Friday night dinner with entertainment, which has hors d'oeuvres and entertainment. You get the same great Captain's Chair weekend seats for the Saturday night gala and complimentary admission to the Saturday night dessert party. Special limited edition coin, the 14th in the series. You get the Creation Trek Treat card filled with free gifts and bonus offers that for the vendor's room. Pre-registration the night before the convention opens, when we'll be in there with our booth already set up.
Yep.
Special colored wristbands. Collector's laminated credentials indicating your package, so to speak. Admission to the secondary theater, admission to the giant vendors hall early, and admission to the promenade, and the right to renew your seat for the 26th for the next one. I'm sorry, and it's a $700. 700.
It's like $699.
$699. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
value.
crazy.
Great value. Paul clarifies. He says gold is the best. Commander are seats on the sides of gold, and captain's chair are behind gold.
Okay.
So these are on the sides.
And commander and captain's chair are about equal value. And
Yes.
The seat that we have for commander level is listed as third row, but if you look at the documentation, third row for commander level is practically first row for this particular grouping. So it's a great seat.
And James, that was donated by a fan.
That's cool.
It's very cool. So again, thanks, James. Oh, the other James, Jimmy.
Third from the stage on the right is what Paul says.
Johnny
Snowball
donated
Johnny
that.
Snowball, that's what it is. Thank you, Johnny. Still, thank you all the time. And so
PF Dennis, Paul was involved with that process, so I just want to send a shout out to him as well.
Yes. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. So yay! It's really amazing. A great gift, and we're very excited to be able to use it to our advantage.
So how are you, your Duke ship?
Yeah, dude.
I'm good. Like I said, I've I've come back from vacation, so it's been a busy sort of few months.
I would ask if you're tan, but you're British, so.
I did tan for like kind of a little bit, but the moment I come back to the UK, it just kind of it's gone. So
evaporates.
Yeah, But no, I went to the island of Tenerife, which is in the Canary Islands, just off the coast of Africa, down towards the tropics.
Did you go to
And-
Tenerife, or did
Yeah.
you stay there? Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so we decided that we wanted to have a vacation where we could see some beautiful stars. So we went to the Tidy National Park, which is like basically halfway up a volcano. There's this ski lodge and nothing else. Looks like the surface of Mars up there. And so we went there and we did a little bit of stargazing for a couple of days, and that was fantastic. We got to see some of the Orionid meteor shower while we were there.
Yeah,
and some really great sort of, did a little bit of hiking and went up the volcano in the cable car. That was very cool. The weirdest thing, we got to the top of the volcano. We go along this huge, great big trail right up to sort of just below the cinder cone, and there's this area where you can stop and kind of look over the volcano. And I sit down, and there are mice there. I kid you not, volcano mice.
Love it.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? And there's this colony of mice living up there, because that's where people stop to like have a sandwich or a bag of chips or something, right? And it's like, oh my god, there's these like volcanic mice living up there. It's so weird. But yeah, so we did.
Mice.
Yeah,
Paints a
crazy.
picture of, like,
Now would those be crisps?
These were just like, yeah. I said chips because I know you're Americans.
Yeah.
And then after we did that, we went down to the coast to a place called Costa Adeje, which was just like beautiful blue seas and a really nice hotel. And when we got there, they gave us like a free upgrade, and it was just everything was just coming up great for us. So we had a really, really fantastic, relaxing weekend. And after it was all done, I didn't want to come home, but it was great. And so I've come back. I feel really sort of super energized now. And,
you haven't been on with us in ages, my friend.
I know. I mean, what have I done since the last?
Oh my god! I think
I saw somebody in game flying the Ark Royal, and I was like, James, is that you?
Sorry, I mean you were talking over each other.
Somebody was outside Deep Space Nine in the Ark Royal, and I was like, James, is that you? They were like, I don't know who you're talking about.
That could be, yeah, because one of my ships is the Ark Royal. I haven't been onto Stowe for ages though, because like I said, I've got a new PC, so I've transferred everything over, and I haven't copied over all of my Stowe stuff yet. Because what I was trying to do is I thought I don't want to spend forever downloading everything again, so I was trying to sort of just copy the files across, and I've done a bit of that, but it's a bit of a mess. I've got to sort of sort it all out.
You do have to restart it, yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't upgraded my Wi-Fi connection yet, so I've got to deal with that. But when that's done, I'm looking at all the new stuff and thinking, man, there's just a ton of stuff I haven't played. So,
yeah, that's what we were talking about before you got on, was the end of the Iconian arc. So we won't give away spoilers for you.
No, we'll stop now.
And there's all the Delta stuff. I haven't gone anywhere near any of that. It's all just super cool looking.
Oh, wait until you discover the Admiralty system.
Oh wow. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
So I've got all of that, but I mean, what have I been doing? I've been, well, obviously, I had a new Star Trek novel out, which is Star Trek Titan Sight Unseen.
Yes.
Which which was a lot of fun to write, and just in the last week or so, StarTrek.com have put the cover up for my next Star Trek novel, which is finally doing an original series, proper classic Trek. Novel, which is The Latter Fire, and that's going to be out February or March next year. I think it's the first full proper novel for the 50th anniversary year. So,
yeah. Congrats! That's awesome.
We need to thank James, because James thanked us. He mentioned us in his book, so thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I killed you in his book too.
I would name check all of the great people out there who you guys are always so supportive, and it's fantastic to have all of the everybody working on all these different podcasts giving us a boost every time we produce a new book. So I just thought, I'll name check it, and then when I started thinking, I got all these other people I know, so I'm just name checking pretty much everybody I know as like as a crewman here or a reference there. I just I'm going to put these all in. Why stop at one, So yeah, but that's what happens. Is when you're coming up with a starship and you need a crew of people, and it's like, I need a captain, I need a chief engineer, I need a doctor. Who do I know? Who can I put in this? Who can die horribly?
Well, that's
explosive diarrhea, or space
falling down
diarrhea,
an elevator,
falling down an elevator shaft. Sucked out of an airlock.
That's me. Cheers.
I laughed out loud. I know you guys died. I'm like, Nick and them got sucked out of a rift. I was laughing at work.
My favorite thing, though, was still the how did Lieutenant Commander Scholl die?
The contest.
Oh, the contest.
Yeah.
because the Lieutenant Commander Shull was on the Defiant, the original Defiant in the Vanguard books. And so I started laughing. I said, oh, I must have died with everybody else during the Tholian Web, or right before the Tholian Web. And that's when everybody at G&T Show said, fuck that, we're going to have our own contest and make sure that you die in a very different
rather
way.
than die like some awesome fist fight, getting her throat slashed or something. No, our fans had her slipping on a bar of soap. And the winner, she fell down an elevator shaft.
And the winner fell down the turbo shaft. Yeah.
My story was a little more elaborate than that, but
yeah, it's pretty much the same thing though.
But she died very Charlie Chaplin-esque.
It was dishonorable in every sense of the word.
Well, you know, Dr. Shull is still alive.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
So there you go. So that was obviously like her granddaughter or something like that, you know.
Which thank you. I appreciate that very much, and I also love the fact that actually Troy knew who I was. I was like, yes.
So obviously, what's happened there is she's like, oh my grandmother was in Starfleet and she fell down an elevator shaft, and in her memory, I have decided to join Starfleet. You know.
Thank you.
Kind of repelling her wherever she goes.
I was just excited that I was no longer MIA. I was sitting reading the book going, I'm still MIA. I'm still MIA. Dude, I got sucked into the vortex. What the hell? So, oh well, it was fun.
That's what Alan said.
I love this book, though. It really did. It scared the crap out of me because you did bring back the one alien that scares the crap out of people, and that's the clicky clickies, right?
The clicky clickies. You know, the thing, I was saying this to Kirsten as well, is the horror is like comedy, right? It's really hard to do it well, and it's all about sort of timing, and it's, you know, it's just about, you know, it's about getting the sort of the pace and the rhythm of it right. And I'm not really a horror writer, you know. I'm an action guy really more than anything. And when I was doing the book, I was thinking, is this going to play right? You know, does it seem scary to me? And, you know, you're so close to it, you can't really tell. So I thought, well, I'll just go for kind of more of the action horror rather than the sort of creeping, scary horror. But then people were emailing me going, you're crazy, this is terrifying. And I thought, oh, that's good. I'm glad I got it right. It actually came out, the core idea of this thing about these creatures getting on board the ship and then reprogramming the replicators to kind of, you know, just to come spilling out of the replicators and just kind of duplicating themselves. That was actually an idea I'd had many, many years ago, back in the 90s when I was pitching for the Star Trek Voyager TV series. And it came from this concept that I was trying to think of something ordinary in the Star Trek universe and how you would make it scary. Like you remember the shower scene in Psycho, right?
Oh yeah.
So you know, I defy anybody to watch that movie and then go and have a shower afterwards at any point in their life and kind of not think about, who's behind the curtain there, you know?
Exactly.
And it's one of those kind of things where it takes an ordinary thing that's part of your life and just makes you kind of go, oh, that could be really scary and creepy. And I thought, what's the Star Trek equivalent of that? What's the common or garden, ordinary thing that appears everywhere in Star Trek? And I thought, what's the replicator, right? You know, everybody's got one in their house. Everybody's got one in their cabin on a starship. You know, if you lived in that future, to you and me, it would be as common as having a toaster, right?
Right.
So I thought, what if you turn that against everybody, you know? And that was where the idea kind of came from.
It was truly evil.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're a beautiful audience.
Yeah, thank you.
You were truly evil. Truly evil.
So I'm glad it came out well. But yeah, you know, Sight Unseen is kind of, in a way, it's like a transition book, I think. It's, you know, we've moved out of all the events that were taking place in the fall and all of the kind of shaking, the stuff that's shaken out of that with, you know, Absent Enemies and Takedown. And it's almost like, I kind of consider it like the season opener for like a new season of the books. And where we go from here is going to be very interesting.
Oh, I like that. I like the sound of that.
I haven't been, I haven't been commissioned to write any new Titan stuff yet, but I do have some stuff kicking around. I don't know if there are other people in the mix right now, because there's a lot of crazy stuff happening with the books, because obviously because of the 50th anniversary, most of the concentration is on TOS.
TOS.
But we'll see. I mean, if they ask me to come back and do another Titan novel, I'm certainly ready to go for it.
Sweet.
Well,
because I do love them. They're so much fun.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, they're serious. You know me. No, they're my faves. So I'm not, I've never been shy about that. And I'm looking forward to another one whenever they give the green light. That will be awesome. But I think every one of us really understood that the 50th anniversary was really going to be TOS.
centric. Yeah.
And we're okay with that too. So I'm excited. I think the 50th anniversary, I'm finally beginning to feel a little bit better about the events that they kind of have planned, not just through the books, but even through to the convention, that CBS really isn't letting this one slip by, that they're really going to use it and let it shine for what it's worth. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it would be foolish just to kind of like, oh, well, it's the 50th anniversary, here's a couple of books, that's it, I think they realize that there's a lot of opportunity there to sort of shine a light on the legacy of Star Trek and the global phenomenon that it was and still is, And I think they just want to make sure they do it right.
I agree. It's very fun. So can you tell us a little bit? I don't want to. I mean, what would your blurb for the new book be for the TOS book?
There is already a blurb out for it.
Awesome.
Actually.
Okay, cool.
Although it kind of it concentrates more on kind of what the beginning of the story is rather than the sort of like the larger the complete scope of it. How can I put this? What I wanted to write was something that harks back to my favorite episodes of TOS. So it's kind of the big, brassy kind of action-adventure story. So things like the Doomsday Machine, the Immunity Syndrome, Enterprise Incident, stories like that where there's like kind of lots of action going on and some space battles. And, Kirk getting the sort of like double fist punch guys and stuff like that, I was really enjoying it. There's actually one scene in the book where I was writing something and I suddenly realized I had a perfect moment for Spock to do a nerve pinch. And I hadn't written it in, I hadn't thought of it. And I was like, oh my God, that's how I can solve this problem. Spock comes over and just nerve pinches him. And I tell you, I know it's a tiny little thing, but I got such a thrill out of kind of writing this scene where Spock nerve pinches a guy. I'm like, this is proper classic Trek I'm doing now,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's basically what happens in the story is it begins with the Enterprise is on its way to meet a race of aliens who have like just recently kind of developed warp drive, and they're carrying a diplomatic team on board. And what's happened is a year previous to the story, the Enterprise is in this area of space, and they found this alien ship drifting, and it was basically like the first warp-capable vessel from this species, but their ship broke down and the crew were, clinging to life support. So the Enterprise crew helped them and sent them on their way. And when they parted, they said, well, come back and see us and, we'll make sort of formal kind of first contact. And so this is the story of that, is they go off to this planet to sort of make first contact. But when they meet up with these aliens, their warp drive technology is way ahead of where it should be. And suddenly they're much more advanced. It's like in the space of like a year, they've suddenly advanced their technology leaps and bounds. And the diplomat on board is like saying, did you give these guys basically, a copy of the Starfleet technical manual and a box of parts? Because they should not be this advanced right now. And so it all becomes a bit sort of, suspicious. What's really going on here? And, and there's much more to it than that. And then crazy things start happening. So it starts. It becomes a kind of a bit of a Prime Directive story. It starts there, and then it becomes much bigger than that, and with lots of stuff exploding and huge things. And I won't say any more than that.
Very fun.
It sounds exciting.
It does. Anything? And the release date is January-ish.
No, it's February, March.
February.
I believe.
Okay.
It's kind of set just after the end of the third season and the beginning of the animated series.
Oh, nice.
So I'm kind of if you remember the character, I'm blanking on his name now. The navigator, the
Arax.
Yeah.
Or Arax.
That's it.
Arax. Not Arax.
So the book actually begins with Chekhov leaving the ship and Arax coming on board. So it's just that, I'm writing that scene where, Chekhov goes back off to Earth to become trained as a security officer, which, you see later on.
In the motion picture, yeah.
Yeah, and then Arax coming on board for the first time. So, the kind of opening scenes are almost from Arax's point of view, where he's coming to the Enterprise for the first time and meeting all of those characters.
Wow.
Was there anytime, I'm a huge fan of the animated series, so anytime
this
there's...
is David, by the way.
Yep, David.
Hey, David, nice to meet you.
Trek Radio's resident Klingon. I love the animated series. I grew up, I was watching it in the 70s. I've got it on the DVD. I just always appreciate it.
David, you're not that old, are you?
Yeah, 74.
You're 74. You look great.
Well, for a Klingon, like we don't age as the same. But there's a new game that's going to be coming out that's going to incorporate the animated series. I just always throw it out there as an option or as a possibility or a question. Was there? So I'm happy. I'm loving it. He's going to be in it. But with CBS and the publishers, was there any resistance to it? Were they for it? Would they not even notice or didn't care? Like what was? Because I'm just curious that there isn't more animated series, in the novels and in any comic books, anything like that. Was that your choice, or how did that happen that he's going to be in there?
It was my choice, and nobody said a word about it.
I think that just people weren't familiar enough for a long time, David, with the animated series. It's only been in the last year or two that it's really kind of made a reemergence.
Been considered even canon, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I've got to say, Dayton Ward would definitely back me up on this, but there was for a while the idea that the series was kind of shunted to the side, and it was kind of like, this was a bit of a misstep. It's kind of a little bit silly, and yada yada yada, right? And I think if you even read one of the earlier editions of the Star Trek Encyclopedia, and they say, right, the only thing that's canonical is the episode Yesteryear, which is the Guardian of Forever episode. Right. But I think there were a whole bunch of us who were Trek writers, and Dayton definitely first and foremost among them, who were kind of like, well, we kind of like some of the stuff in the cartoon show. And maybe some of it is a bit goofy, but it's kind of fun, and we all had fond memories of it. And I think there was a kind of an unspoken movement to kind of re-canonize it a little bit and say, well, let's bring that kind of stuff in. I mean, I love the idea of, like the Cation characters. I thought Maress was a really cool character. She's in the novel as well. And I think we all thought that these stories are good enough that we can still kind of spread them back into the Star Trek universe. So it's not like any of us think we'll just kind of gloss over that stuff.
Well,
so that's part of the reason why I decided, I was writing this sequence, and when I was trying to find a point chronologically for the latter fire, I thought, well, this is a good place to put it. Let's open with this scene where Chekhov is leaving and saying goodbye to the Enterprise, and Arex is coming on board, and that's your cold open for the novel, and it just seemed like it fitted for me, so I thought I'm going to tell that story.
And there was some, like you said, I liked the episode where the sirens put all the guys under their spell and the women have to, they take the ship and they do all that. That was pretty, for a cartoon, that was pretty forward thinking. And two, for the time frame, that was pretty forward thinking.
In these are the voyages, the third volume, we find out that a lot of the stories that were not used for the third season actually made their way into the animated series. Vim being one of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
and Harry Mudd makes an appearance, so he's in 3 different Star Trek episodes.
Yeah, and then the Tribble episode.
The Tribbles,
yeah,
that was supposed to be a sequel, another TOS.
Because that was written by David Gerrold.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and I remember that's something where I'd either want to check with Larry Nemecek or Mark Cushman, but I've heard writings and stories about how sometime in the 80s or sometime around that period, they were going to check about what are we going to do with canonizing what different stuff, and that at some point I've heard it was Gene Roddenberry's decision. Another account puts it on Richard Arnold, saying they just don't like the animated series, and like you said, we're going to shun it, we're going to put it off to the side and declare it's no longer canon like it was at one point. Then we just don't like it, we don't want it no more to be involved, and so they're gonna blackball it or non-canonize it. And I just thought that was sad, because some of them are cheesy or goofy, but there's a lot of good good stories in there.
As long as the bowling alley is cool, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about it. I've got fond memories of it. I mean, but you can say the same thing about the live action show. Is that there? Let's face it, you could probably point at any Star Trek show and go, that episode, that's a bit goofy, and so I think maybe it was because the cartoon show is like this is for kids. Maybe that's what it was. It was like, this is not, somehow makes it kind of less valid because it was not aimed at a adult audience. I guess that might be why it is. But at the end of the day, I think there's some great story concepts in there, and it's just fun. I mean, why ignore it?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my Titan animated series.
That would be awesome. James, can you hang out for a little while? We have Adrian wanting to call in for a few minutes to say hello.
Sure.
And so just bear with us. It'll just be a few minutes, but I'll go ahead and call her now.
Sure thing.
Crazy lady, we love her.
I would love. You know what? Terry, picking up on that. I would love to
awesome.
see.
We gotta do like a jerky, boys.
An animated series thing. That
Somebody
would be
was
brilliant
yelling for me. Oh, wouldn't it be awesome? Like Star Wars Rebels was good.
Oh God, yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi.
You're in the full room.
How are
Well
you?
done, guys. Going 24 hours of GNT.
All right.
Yes, it's madness.
We're in your world right now.
Yeah, you are. So I'm lying on my back
I love
on
her
the
giggle
couch.
so much.
Are you leaving
It's
us
a
full
long
back?
night.
Yeah, we have been on for
I don't know. I don't do math.
18 and a half hours?
500 years.
Yeah, 18 and a half hours.
500 years.
It was the Middle Ages when we started. We podcast with pens and
We did
quills.
take time off when Kennedy
Parchment.
was shot to reflect for a moment.
Yes.
Bang the rocks together, guys. That's how you podcast back in here.
That's how we did it when I was a kid.
Yep.
Exactly. There's Smallback.
Tweeting out with smoke signals.
And
That was
Adrian, we have
fantastic.
Priority 1 in here with us, and we also have James Swallow with us.
Hello.
Hello.
And there's some crazy Klingon running around.
Yeah, and David. There's accents flying all over the place.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, thank you, Terry. Yeah, we're in here too.
I said
You said you were, Marv. You said you were leaving.
Yeah, but I'm still here, and Sunciella's here as well.
I didn't know that.
And Son, we love the Club 602.
I love you guys too. You just don't treat us very nicely.
Oh, that's so not
There's
true.
also the fact that two
Yes.
of the people for Tribbles and Ecstasy are in here too as well.
Well, Steve.
Oh, okay. So I see how it is. I see how it is.
So how are
Pretty
you,
much
Adrian,
every
dear?
Star Trek podcast is here, so yeah.
Adrian, how are you?
Oh, it's complicated, but I'm good.
It's complicated.
Jesus.
She's recovering from a stint at Kamikaze, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a bit of the day there. I stopped by to see a couple friends of mine at different booths, and including a screening for Nobility, which was a sci-fi comedy film I worked on. And it was a very chaotic day.
Wow.
And then ended with I guess I'll try next year for a Halloween-y type of day, because I really didn't get much Halloween out of the day, and I was a little disappointed from that. But I did see a lot of awesome cosplay, so I was not short on seeing awesome costumes.
I saw people on Facebook, especially the cosplayers, posting.
Yeah, there was amazing costumes there. And actually, there's a group that did, the bad guys from Karate Kid who dressed up in the skeleton costumes and, they dressed up in that.
Body bag.
And there was someone
Cobra
dressed up in
Kai.
the shower, following them. It was weird. It was
That is
so awesome.
awesome.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah.
Body bag.
Okay, before I go to bed, Adrian, I gotta say, Little Dark Star, love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. I was playing it at work, and my coworker was like, skip the language. He's like, dude, what the fuck are you listening to? That shit's fucking rock. I was like, yeah, it's a buddy of mine. She watches she do this shit.
Rad.
He's like, I said, yeah, he goes,
That's
who is
rad.
it?
Please
Kick
pimp
ass.
your album.
Pimp it,
Pimp
pimp
Invocation Array.
Yeah.
Good job, Adrian.
Yeah, Invocation Array. That's my
Freaking
band. We're actually Treon recently got really interested in our music, so we might have some cool things to talk about that soon.
Nice.
That was a surprise thing, but I can't really talk about details yet. But I was like, whoa! Some of the core people from Treon or Tryon. I'm not sure yet how to quite pronounce it.
Pronounce
It's never
it, yeah.
actually been. It hasn't been said to me often enough for me to remember. But they make the awesome Defiance show that. I think it's been canceled though. I think it's third season, and then Sci-Fi didn't renew. But they have some other good games, fantasy games and stuff like that. And
One of their big
one
ones
of the
is
games.
Rift.
Yeah, they do make.
Yeah, and they've got another one called Archage, and that's the one that I've been that they're looking to pair me with.
Very cool.
And it was partially because of my band stuff. So they really loved it, and they're really excited to work with me. So we'll see where this goes.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you. You break a leg.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Yes, good
Is there
luck.
any new videos in the works? I know you've been putting them out there and filming recently, or is there a new one coming up, or is it in the can?
We've got a couple more music videos in the works and other types of media. We've got a lot of things in the works. Meanwhile, trying to pay bills, I've just been trying to find other work here and there, as the usual, construction work, and occasionally doing it for either theater or film, and then doing voiceover work here and there. So that's the usual.
So now, were you down in LA?
Band stuff is,
I was going to say, have you been down in LA working on a job and then took advantage of the fact that Kamikaze was there, or did you just?
I was actually down. Well, I'm in SoCal right now. We had a friend's wedding, and then basically the next weekend after, which this weekend, is Kamikaze.
Right.
So, and I was planning on doing the screening at Kamikaze anyway for the Nobility film.
Nobility.
So, we just decided to stay down here for the whole week and do the wedding, and then stay through the week, and then do Kamikaze, and then head back home. But not that long ago, like pretty recently, I was down here for 3 weeks doing another film as a set designer.
Great.
And that one was called Watch the Sky, and it's a sci-fi drama, and it stars Renee O'Connor. So if you guys know, Renee O'Connor is the one who played Gabrielle in Xena, Xena's companion.
Yes.
And she was a producer, and she also stars in Watch the Sky. And her and her family, they're actually all in it. So it was amazing to work with them, and she is one of the most gracious, kind, generous, and professional people I've ever worked with. Just really wonderful person, and her family's great and super talented. And it was one of the favorite films I've probably ever worked on. Just a great crew. I loved my team. So I was down here doing a grueling physical load on that. But yeah, I'm not sure when that one's going to be premiering yet. But wasn't that long ago. And then, now we're down here again for more shenanigans.
Very cool. Yeah, shenanigans. That's a good word. Well, it's awfully good to hear your voice.
Yes.
And I know that you've been a very busy lady. I know that we miss you, and I haven't seen you since the Toto concert.
I know. I still. Oh my God! I love the shirt that I got. I wear it all the time. That was such a rad concert. They were so good.
We had so much fun.
Yeah, I was like, if I could only see Toto, Chicago, Tower of Power, and Earth, Wind, and Fire in the same concert, I'd be like, whoa, trip out, because and Moody Blues and Jethro Tull, and I'd be like, damn, I'm done.
We had a very good time. So.
It's so good.
I'm glad. Well,
you're making me think. My last concert was Joan Jett and the Who.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And the Who.
My very first concert was Weird Al, and who's opening for Weird Al was the Monkees. That's how long ago that was.
Oh my God.
That sounds like an amazing concert.
It was the coolest and weirdest concert ever.
Oh my God.
I loved
so
it.
Trippy.
So,
Was there a special?
yeah, it was right when Weird Al had come out with Weird Al came out with the song like a surgeon, and so it was back then, and the Monkees were still a little bit popular, and so I got to see the Monkees open for Weird Al.
Oh my God.
Back in the early '80s.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
It was cool. And same place too at the Hollywood. Well, the Greek.
The Greek, yeah. The Greek was a great place.
Yeah.
Still a great venue, that's for sure.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of things there, mostly classical music things. Same with the Hollywood Bowl. For me, it's usually been classical music pieces or puppet shows for kids.
Well, I just saw on Facebook you posted that cool picture from the Renegade set where the three of you are doing the Speak No Evil, Hear No Evil. That photo with. And then Renegades also just started their new Kickstarter for the episodes 2 and 3. Are you going to do more work with Renegades? Are you going to continue with that?
Well, if you want me, yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I like the people I worked with, and I've worked with them on a number of other films. So, it's a team that I trust. So, yeah, if I can, we'll see if I can afford to do it this time.
Yeah.
Whole other stories.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, it was a great team, and it's an interesting story. I'm curious to see where they go with it for the second and third episode.
Well, they definitely recruited a lot of new people that should renew some interest in it as well, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to join my buddies again on that. So it was really good.
Well, it's as if you need more projects. I just thought you should probably write a book or 3 about all of the things you've seen and done and been a part of.
I would, be with my schedule. I need somebody to help me with something like that because I've started to do something like that, and I don't know if I'll ever even finish it without help. Or it would take many, many more years before that would happen. So I don't know if there's someone out there who writes Dayton Ward. No, not like you would really be interested in something like that, but no,
James Swallow's
like
in here.
James Swallow's in the chat room.
Hey Dayton Ward, if you're listening, I got something for you.
I did not say that.
Why would that way, James, just so you know, Adrian is beautiful and has the most gorgeous, flowing, curly red hair.
I'm just wondering, why would you want to work with Hack? Oh, is my I'm sorry. Wait.
Snap.
Well, who was the New York Times bestselling author first, you or Dayton?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, actually. We'd have to arm wrestle. He'd probably win,
Yeah, well, he wasn't.
What do you mean was?
Dayton would just get his daughter to...
That's true. If we learned anything, his daughter will kick all of our asses.
That's very true.
She's what, a 17th degree black belt?
Yeah.
She's plaid, man. She's gone to plaid.
Oh, I am seeing
We're
noises
seeing plaid right
and
now.
hearing colors.
Yes, you are. So how are you guys surviving aside from alcohol and coffee? Are there any other tricks?
Actually, it's been water for me. I have been pounding water.
It's
no
been meth for
alcohol
me.
or coffee. Earl Grey
Yeah.
tea. And I've been up
2
about
cups of
53
coffee.
hours now, I think.
Yeah, it's been meth for me.
Which Mike is cooking up in his hotel room.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the time change?
You mean the Braga?
The Braga hours? Yeah, that was
Yeah, how was that feeling when you were like, oh my god, I'm making progress, and the clock?
It was like the Enterprise kept exploding over and over.
Right? Yeah.
And it really screwed up our math.
It did. I stopped doing math. I'm no longer doing math. I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's almost 4:00 in the morning now. I'm like, holy crap. For here. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, we've got James and Kipley coming up soon.
That's right.
Oh, cool. Yay, Kipley.
I know,
She's
right?
so great.
That'll breathe some life back into the show.
I think Nick and I will just be able to go on mute and we just go, yay, go for it, Kipley. Go.
Yeah, she's a Star Trek Online person now too.
I know. We loved her new character. Although there's a few of us in the chat room who have not yet played much.
David.
And even James. Who have
James
not. But he has not. He has
I
not
know,
played.
but I can't be because
We can't
the man's
spoil.
the man's kicking out books like left and right.
I know. It's kicking ass.
I know.
Scaring the crap out of me on top of it.
I don't have a good excuse as James, but I'm past the point of spoilers. I try to keep up with it now. I kind of like, ooh, what's going on? So I'm not looking for spoilers, but I'm not going away from them. But I'm just happy with the new direction with the show. It's getting me back into it.
Yeah. James, Kipley Brown, who we're talking about and who's going to be joining us probably in the next, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so.
6 hours.
We'll see when she shows up. She played, oh my gosh, Lieutenant Taylor, correct? Taylor in Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, Enterprise, yeah.
And
no, Crewman Taylor.
Crewman Taylor.
Right.
Right. In the episode where
The Forgotten.
she dies, right? And Trip has to write the letter to her parents.
Oh, I remember that show. Yeah.
And she kind of comes back as like this ghost kind of thing and gives him grief. for not being able to write the letter. So she's the actress, that's the character, but she's actually playing a different character in Star Trek Online. She's doing a voice for a new species that you get to meet in the new episode called Sunrise.
And she's also the voice person on Star Trek Continues now.
Yes,
she's in the Chekhov seat.
She's in the Chekhov seat.
Wow, that's really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. And she's absolutely a force of nature, and in another universe, I am her slave.
No, what are you talking about? You're in this
some really
universe.
cool. There's some other indie films too that she's in, especially coupled with
Yesterday was
with really cool actors like
R.U.R.
Paige and Vic, and yeah,
we love her much.
She's
I gotta
rad.
say, I am so blown away by the I'm constantly amazed by the amount of creativity I see coming out of fandom. Is people doing these kind of like their videos and doing their audio dramas and stuff like that. It's just incredible. It's like almost like a renaissance in like fan creations. It's just so much great stuff out there.
And they're bringing
we're lucky to have so many different paths to so many different ways of expressing it that are so affordable.
That's true.
In the past you'd have to spend thousands to have film, or you'd have to have thousands or super uber duper connections with a very elite
getting a
tiny
camera
team in order to get radio.
Right.
So we've got podcasts in the hands of anyone who's willing to put in the work to learn it, and it's so this day and age is just perfect for people who just need to get their ideas out and do not have a lot of money, but have incredible talent and are totally just, it's so valuable to get those ideas out there.
And what I find amazing is that 93% are inspired by the G&T show. So I think that's really, what?
Hell yeah.
What?
And people at Priority One are snickering.
Well, I said 92, 93.
Club 602 is going, we fend this, baby.
Oh, yeah. But
I mean, I gotta say, I really love the radio drama. Is something that I've always been a huge fan of my entire life. From like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the Goon Show and stuff like that. I was raised on all that, and I still listen to a lot of it, and I get to write some of it as well. But I'm constantly amazed by every time someone says to me like, "Oh, here's a really cool podcast," and here's like an interesting drama show, and I look and there's just so much stuff, and I don't have the time to listen to it all. But the creativity is amazing to me.
Well, James, I don't know if you've heard of it. There was a podcast that was it blew the roof off of podcasts last year, and it's not a drama, but it's a true life thing called Serial. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
It was
I heard about that.
amazing. I cannot recommend it highly enough.
I think it's really interesting that the sort of the radio broadcasting thing is becoming popular, where it sort of went out of well, I won't say it went out of popularity because people have always been listening to radio, but where maybe radio dramas sort of waned in popularity when we got MTV or whatever.
Well,
it's coming back now with the advent of podcasts, and it's so easy to find what you like and subscribe and play it in your car or whatever.
Well, I think that also goes to story. People want good story, and now with iPods or like you said in the car, it's easy to listen to while you're driving. While you have a long commute, or you're running or biking or doing whatever, grocery shopping.
Yeah, you don't have to be sat in front of a screen to be able to see it. And that's the great thing about sort of the radio medium, is that you're using sounds and
because look at the explosion of books on audio.
Explain it exactly.
It's interesting to me being. I don't know if my fellow Brits online here will agree with me. Is that in the UK we have always had a very strong tradition of radio drama. Because we have Radio 4, and it's always been part of the British entertainment landscape. And you talk to any British actors, and they will talk about doing television, theatre, and radio, and it's a very, very big part of our culture. And you look at American radio culture in the old days. You guys used to have loads of really great radio shows, and then that kind of just went away, and and it became like talk radio, music radio, and radio drama seemed to be a thing that disappeared out of the American consciousness. And I know a lot of times when I talk to people about writing radio stuff, American fans go, "Oh, is it like a talking book?" And I'm like, no, it's a play. It's like a theater play.
They don't understand.
Pictures. Yeah, and it's really, I think it's really cool that podcasting and this the digital medium has breathed new life into this style of storytelling.
Well, and it's given the power of doing this back to the individual. It's not a corporate thing. It's
right.
We can say, hey, James, we need a British accent. Do you have a few minutes just to record, this one line? And Adrian, can you do that? And people can do it at separate times and just mail it, and then boom, you put it all together, and you've got a nice little production where, like you were saying earlier, Terry, and Adrian, you didn't have the equipment, to do this, to put something that is professional and everything, but having a studio. But now your studio is on your laptop.
Right.
Well,
there are people making feature films there's people making feature films on iPhones now.
I know. What
yeah, well, you had the U.S. big corporations. The big corporations of the U.S. especially killed that because they said, no, this is what's new. And people were like, well, okay. And you didn't have a say against it because there was such a tight-knit, almost mob-like group that was running these things. And so many of them, it was almost like a monopoly. So one major film group would also be running some of the major radio stuff. And when they said it's over, it was over, and you didn't have the opportunity to get in because either they would basically mob you out of it, or they would just simply you just wouldn't get the funding. So it just wasn't going to happen. And so now we have this thing where when a corporation, like, for example, perfect example, the Dracula TV series that I think it was NBC that was backing, and they decided after season 1 of this new Dracula TV series, they're like, no, we're not interested. The fans go, we want it. Netflix goes, I'll buy it. So you have all these other different companies, big and small, that can now pick something up.
Or like
and
Hulu
do it
has picked up the Mindy. What's that show?
In some form they can do it. If it's either by TV, if it's by Netflix, if it's by web series on YouTube, or if it's an audio play or a graphic novel. You have so many different mediums now. You don't have to wait for the corporation to, give a thumbs up or to say that this is the only way you can do it. And
did anybody see
Comic Book Men
last weekend with Shatner on it?
No.
Where he wants to do a kind of a comic book online that's interactive so that it moves and stuff with Kevin Smith. He talked to Kevin Smith about it.
Yeah, there's a number of projects that have done that. The interactive graphic novel comic books. Yeah.
And so,
I haven't heard about that project in particular. I've just seen a lot of projects do that.
But Shatner talked about that at this year's Comic-Con, and he had like a very, very early prototype style demo for it. But, I forget the name of it, but it's a total sci-fi, like it's a very cool idea. It could be a movie, a TV show, but he's wanting it to be and it's interesting because when it's fully active, it's going to blend comic book style sequential art and novels.
Yeah.
And it's going to have, like, you could flip back and forth on the fly. You could read it as paragraphs of text where it's just, a novel. But if you want to read a paragraph and go, ooh, that was a cool sequence, I want to see that, you, like, flip over to the comic book and you watch it like an animated graphic novel art. Or if you're watching it as a graphic novel from the beginning and you think, I want to know more about this sequence, you flip to the novel and then you read it. And it's just a very, like, it's kind of like taking things that already existed and just innovate it to a new combination.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, we're able to do such transmedia projects now because of just, God, we've got so many tools for that now. It's just amazing.
Oh, do we want to do a tally while Adrian is here?
Well, just one quick thing. The Shatner thing is called Man-O-War, so you can look it up. William Shatner's Man-O-War. But yeah, what's the?
Now, when you say Man-O-War, do you have to say it Man-O-War?
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. It's just.
Yeah, we can do a tally.
Yeah.
All right.
And we have James and Kipley standing in the wings as well.
Here comes our tote board, Adrian. Strobe lights this time.
Our total is now at $988.22.
Woo!
We have received a donation from the UK.
Nice. Thank you.
So
did somebody win the prize for this hour?
Yes, we did receive the donation this hour, and Ian Broker
Yay!
from the UK looks like he's getting the Star Trek Online Delta Rising Pack.
Oh, very nice.
Wow.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Congratulations. So, yay. And thanks again to everybody at Cryptic Studios Star Trek Online.
Yes.
For the lovely donation. That was very
Now, do we need to reset before we have James and Kipley on?
Yes, and sadly, we're going to have to say goodbye to Adrian in order.
Adrian, we love you. You know that.
Goodbye, Adrian.
I love you too.
Bye,
we love you.
All right, have a good
Adrian.
night.
Bye, Adrian. Say goodnight, Adrian.
Congratulations on your run. Good night.
Invocationarray.com.
Invocation Array, yes. We'll have
Twitter,
the links.
Facebook.
We'll have links.
Thank you, David.
Awesome.
All right, we're going to have a short music break while we reset.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5 Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Greth Thor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. Put a mini skirt on my yo man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Gonna travel to new worlds. Beam on down and meet some green girls. Gonna see what we can see. A fancy-free galaxy. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Come and take a tour with me. There'll be no cons or Kobayashi. Gonna travel to the end and make new friends with aliens. To boldly go where no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G